games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
A very, very good morning. This is the Early Breakfast Show. We're with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. You can find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Happy Thursday morning. It is 5:03, the 17th of July. If you're getting up early for work, coming through the night, hope you're fair and healthy and having a wonderful morning. It's the Early Breakfast Show. We're building up to breakfast this morning at 6 with Alan Brazil and Dean Saunders with what's coming up over the next hour. Good morning, Sam Stevens. How are you?
Yes, good morning, Sam. It's lovely to be back with you this morning. We'll talk about Arsenal's transfer business in the first part of this morning's programme. Could Noni Madueke actually prove to be a good signing for the Gunners? We'll get all of the latest transfer news for you as well. Plus, we've got loads of live sport going on today on talkSPORT. Plenty to look ahead to, including the Lionesses versus Sweden in the Women's Euros quarterfinals and the Open, which starts this morning as well. And, of course, we'll have our usual deep dive into the morning's papers.
This is the Early Breakfast on talkSPORT with our very good friends Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. I'm just thinking, Sam, I mean, for people watching on no, it's never a good sign, is it? Especially at 5:04 in the morning. I don't think I've ever seen... I mean, I can't remember the last time, maybe. I've just seen you in a T-shirt.
Yeah, I thought this might come up. I thought this might come up. Yeah, I did.
Am I that predictable?
Yeah. Yes, very predictable.
You know how I'm kicking off the show at 5:04.
That's right. I thought, no, I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to put a jumper on for the first time in a long time. I thought I wouldn't bother. And then I'm regretting it instantly because, of course, as always, it's freezing down here. Absolutely freezing. What is going on in this studio?
I don't
Paul
know.
Ross has it like an icebox,
Yeah, I know. It does.
I should remember that from the days working with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know better than most, right? It does keep you awake, though, doesn't it, at this time of morning?
Certainly does. It certainly does.
This probably gets mentioned a lot for people on the show, but I thought in particular this morning, the sunrise at 4:30 in the morning was particularly magnificent, wasn't it? We normally get a good one, but this morning was elite.
There's not much that's to look forward to about getting. I mean, you know, we love this job, don't we? We love coming into talkSPORT.
Yeah.
Right? We do. We love.
It's much better than a proper job.
It is. It's better than a proper job. But there isn't much great about getting up at 5 to 3 in the morning, or quarter to 3 in the morning, or 2:30 in the morning, whatever time that one rises to do this shift. But one of the great things is seeing the sunrise, particularly in the summer. I mean, it's just a beautiful red sky out there this morning. You can see the sun's just creeping up.
Orange this morning, even.
Yeah, an orange hue just above the clouds.
Orange what?
Hue.
Hue,
yeah.
What does that mean?
It's just the colour. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? And it just looks beautiful out there this morning. So if you are lucky enough to be up at this time, that's one of the things. And also the fact that London is nice and quiet at this time of the morning as well, because it soon gets busy, doesn't it?
No traffic, thankfully.
Absolutely.
Although, you know, Alan Brazil likes to go on road rants and talk about, work being done here and stuff. Something that I find remarkable when you get into London is how many traffic lights there are.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Like, literally, there's one part of my journey where I promise you, Sam, there is literally a traffic light every 15 seconds.
Yes, it's true.
And it's always red. Like, it's never green.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's my road rant for this morning.
No, you're right. There's something to be said for that. The fact that there is just you're held up the last part of the journey by the ridiculous number of traffic lights in the city, and 20-mile-an-hour speed limits everywhere, of course, as well.
Doesn't help either.
But we can't complain, can we?
No, we're not complaining. That was an observation about traffic lights, not a complaint about traffic lights.
Yeah, very much so. Do you know that we're among the elites this morning, Sam? Because
Tell us why.
Did you know that actually I found out recently that only 6% of the population are up at this time of the morning?
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's
it's not many, is it? Really, if you think about it. I mean, it's not many.
Probably
in the
more
still
than
a lot of people, but
probably more than I thought. Though, to be fair,
yeah.
because you work out what 6% is.
I know.
That's still a lot of
It's
people
still a lot
that
of
are
people.
currently awake, which means a lot of people listen to the show then at this time of the
Absolutely,
morning.
but it makes us
which is
part
good.
of quite a unique crowd of people as well.
And
so
that's why
those
we
of you
love
this
the
morning.
wonderful people that listen to the 5 a.m. club on the early breakfast show, because people getting up early or coming back late from work, and we love it, don't we, Sam?
And a very good morning to you all.
Let's do it. Sam, thank you very much. Back shortly for some back pages, some front pages. But first, there's some back page headlines this Thursday morning. Bring it on is the headline back of the Mail. Rory McIlroy says he is ready to revel in the noise when he takes on the challenge of winning the Open on home soil today. 6 years after wilting under the pressure of Portrush, where he carved his first shot out of bounds and then missed the cut, the Masters champion returns to Northern Ireland, confident he can withstand the expectation. The Open, Sam mentioned, live on talkSPORT 2 this morning and throughout the course of the weekend. We cannot wait for that. Gets going very early this morning. McIlroy goes there, of course, completing the Grand Slam, the Masters champion. Let's hope he goes well. Curry gets the nod over Morgan for Lions Open. Another story back at the Mail. Chris Foy writes this morning, Tom Curry is poised to win the Lions' most competitive selection battle and started open side flanker in Saturday's first test. Curry, who began all 3 tests on the 2021 tour of South Africa, has been striving to hit top 4 down under. Wales captain Morgan has been outstanding at number 7, but is set to miss out. The official team is going to be announced at 7 o'clock this morning. So team going to be out at 7 o'clock this morning UK time, so of course we'll bring you that on the breakfast show. Newcastle Liverpool in transfer war to sign Ekitike. Telegraph Sports story. Luke Edwards said Newcastle United are pushing ahead with their attempt to sign Hugo Ekitike in the hope of pairing him next season with Alexander Isak. In a strong response to Liverpool's unwanted approach for Isak on Tuesday, Newcastle are determined to deliver a power play of their own and have had a productive round of tours over Ekitike in the last 24 hours. Newcastle have had an opening bid of £65 million rejected, but are expected to return with an improved offer in the hope of finalising the transfer of one of their long-term targets. Liverpool, though, have also made contact with the Bundesliga club and are yet to submit a formal offer for the 23-year-old. There is strong competition for his signature. Transfer story back of the eye. United may have to swap Garnacho for Jackson. Nicholas Jackson and Alejandro Garnacho could trade places this summer. Both Chelsea and Man United keen to accelerate player sales. Pluck Rodgers back of the Sun. Chelsea have made £80 million Aston Villa star Morgan Rodgers the latest summer target. Villa could replace him with Manchester United outcast Alejandro Garnacho. What have we got back of the Mirror? Open goal. Rory living the dream at his home cause and is out to bookend his major season. They've also got the Ekitike story back of their newspaper. Liverpool ready to go toe-to-toe with Newcastle in a battle to sign Hugo Ekitike after opening talks with Frankfurt. More on all of those stories throughout the course of the hour. But let's now talk a little bit about Arsenal. They've been active in the transfer window so far, and we're expecting them to be more busy between now and the close, as well as Martin Zubimendi Christian Norgard and Kepa. Other deals are close. Valencia's Christian Mascara and Sporting star Victor Gyökeres should be next to sign, along with a transfer that has divided the fan base. Chelsea winger Noddy Madueke talkSPORT understands that deal is happening. Some fans have signed a petition against the potential signing, which is something that the Arsenal invincible Ray Parlour is not in favour of, as he told Big Al on breakfast yesterday.
Whoa. No, I'm not. You can't do that. So I think that's wrong. I really do. You give him a chance. He's a young 23-year-old. He's England. He's got in the England squad. Can play either wing. He's versatile along that front. He's good at one-on-ones against someone. So look, you can't knock someone, and he's under 50 million, I think he is, Al. They're saying 55. That's add-ons, but they've got him for 40 or late 40s, and I think he can improve. Yeah. So I'm against that, if I'm being honest.
Great guest on the Sports Bar last night. Comedian, Arsenal fan Matt Lucas joined Jamie and Jason on the Sports Bar, and he said match-going fans are not the vocal ones.
The people that go to the games are not the people moaning about the signing of a player who we haven't even seen play for Arsenal yet, right? So all I can remember is, right, I'm 51, and I remember when Arsenal won the league in 88-89, they had John Lukic in goal, and then a year later, David Seaman became available, right? And everybody used to chant, everybody chanted when David Seaman played for, I think it was QPR, and he came to Highbury, and all the rumours were that Arsenal were going to get rid of Lukic and sign Seaman, and everybody chanted, and I was part of it, you'll never play for Arsenal because we love John Lukic. John Lukic was a great goalkeeper, but David Seaman was the best. So that was the last time I heard a player was signing for Arsenal, and I was annoyed. I was annoyed that David Seaman was signing because we love John Lukic. David Seaman turned out to be the greatest goalkeeper probably in the history of the club.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I was surprised at the signing. I'm not completely convinced that Madueke is good enough for Arsenal, and I think whilst they needed to strengthen across all positions and sign a different option for Bukayo Saka, I thought the signing of Madueke, and for that price of £52 million, has personally surprised me, and I definitely would have believed that there is better signings, certainly in terms of value for money, better options out there for Arsenal. But I do 100% agree with Matt Lucas that what you hear and see on social media is much different to what you get inside the stadium. And obviously, it goes without saying that the Arsenal fans, the match-going football supporters that pay their money to support their team, are not going to be turning on Noni Madueke, and certainly, I'm sure, not the people that have signed petitions against a player to not sign for the football club. So I absolutely agree with Matt Lucas. Meanwhile, the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves, he thinks Madueke could be a useful signing.
The Madueke one is a bit, I must admit, for Arsenal, that was, pardon the pun, but that was a little bit left field because I don't think anybody saw that coming. But when you look, the reason I think Arteta's gone for Madueke is when teams come to the Emirates especially and they sit deep, we struggle to break them down. And Madueke is brilliant in 1v1 situations. If you look at his stats with Trossard and Martinelli, they're very similar from last season, apart from the dribbles per 90 games and dribbles completed. So I think that's why. And people forget as well, he's 6 foot. So there's another one in the basketball club.
Yeah, and there's not talk as well about the young star Ethan Nwaneri. He's close to signing a new deal with the club after being understood to have been given reassurances over his playing time at the Emirates. Arsenal fan and top broadcaster Harry Symeou says tying the 18-year-old down could prove to be the best bit of business this summer for Arsenal.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable talent, and from when he first came onto the pitch as a 15-year-old at Brentford, and you're looking at it, and a lot of people at the time, I remember Jason Cundy on here saying, no, it's just all about Arteta making it all about himself, bringing on the youngest player so he can say that it was him. Look at it now, fast forward 2.5 years, and we're all talking about him as one of the brightest prospects, not just in English football, but in European football. I never really felt too concerned, though, about the possibility of him leaving. If you go back to when he signed his first professional contract with the club, it was a long, drawn-out process. There were rumours of other clubs being interested. It sounds to me like Ethan Nwaneri's got a bunch of people around him that really care for him and really want to ensure that he gets the best possible deal. And I kind of admire that, because this day and age, we're so often talking about young footballers who maybe get led down the wrong path, have got bad influences around them, and who cause friction and problems. this never came out publicly. It wasn't like his agents were speaking publicly. There were some rumors and there were some whispers, but I was always confident he was going to stay. And that's as good a bit of business as Arsenal will do this summer. I know people are fixated on, the incomings, but they've signed a couple of really big players now down to big contracts, and I think that's really important too.
So great news there with Ranieri signing a new deal. 3 players already over the line. Madueke and Gyökeres we're expecting to be signings that are definitely going to happen. So I guess that leaves then one man, Eberechi Eze. What is the latest with that? talkSPORT's man of the know, here's Ben Jacobs.
Eberechi Eze is keen on Arsenal. They've held a lot of talks on the player side to understand terms, which are now not thought to be a problem. And for Arsenal, after Gyökeres and Noni Madueke on the right, finding a central attacking midfielder is going to be key, which is fascinating because Zubimendi is a 6. Declan Rice, as a result of Zubimendi, may get the opportunity to play in a more advanced position. You got Eze. Martin Odegaard is still at the club as well. So Arsenal are going big.
Yes, an exciting summer for Arsenal. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I think it's been blatantly obvious for 18 months. They need that proven number 9 goal scorer to come in and score 30 goals a season. They've got that in Gyökeres. A player like Eze could be so good for them because he gives them that option on the left-hand side. He gives them that option as well centrally if Martin Odegaard gets injured. So I've always thought with Arsenal that whilst the striker, the left wing, 2 important positions, starting 11, they've needed to improve and strengthen. I've also thought they've needed to build together a bigger, more stronger squad of sort of 18, 19, 20 players that can really compete, that Arteta can really rely on throughout the course of the season. And by bringing in players like, Madueke and Norgard and Kepa as well, they're building a squad that have real options, not just 11, 12, 13, 14 good players to pick from. Big options, real strength in depth, which I think is super important. It is 5:16. It is talkSPORT Early Breakfast. For more on all of the latest transfer news, make sure you go to our live blog, which is on talksport.com, and talkSPORT Breakfast with Al and Dean Saund. We'll have lots more on the day's biggest transfer stories, including Ekitike and Isak with Liverpool and Newcastle, and more on that. Coming up next, though, on the Early Breakfast, we'll be taking a deep dive into today's Bad Pages. A very good morning. This is the Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. It's Sam Ellard with you until 6 o'clock this morning. Then it's Adam Brazil and Dean Saunders with The Breakfast Show. Please make sure you download our wonderful talkSPORT app. You can find all of our stations, including this one, talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, Talk Times and Virgin. And there you can listen again to all of our best shows. And you can find our wonderful podcast. Some sporting headlines this Thursday morning. Master champion Rory McIlroy is back on home soil when Golf's Open Championship returns to Royal Portrush for the first time in 6 years today. Ireland's Shane Lowry lifted the claret jug the last time the tournament was held at the course. The world number one Scotty Scheffler is the favourite, while three-time major winner Patrick Harrington hits the opening tee shot at 6:35 this morning. Real Madrid midfielder Jude Bellingham has undergone surgery and a shoulder injury. He's going into rehab. He's expected to be out for about 8 weeks. It means he could miss a couple of the England internationals early into the season. And England continue the defence of their Women's European Championship title when they face Sweden tonight in the quarter-finals. They got past the same opponents in the knockout rounds on the way to lifting the trophy 3 years ago. Captain Cristiano Girelli scored a 90th minute winner as Italy beat Norway 2-1 to reach the last four last night. Here's the full-time whistle as you heard it on talkSPORT 2.
Andrea Sonchin giving a big hug to Girelli on the sidelines, and there's not enough time for the corner to be taken. Italy have done it. They are heading to the first semi-final since 1997. They've beaten Norway here by 2-1. 2 goals from Cristiano Girelli. Cantore with the assist. The Italians are out on their feet here. Linari, the captain, on the ground crying. There's tears from half the players. Norway look shook. Hegerberg got them level after the first Girelli goal. She missed the penalty, Hegerberg, but when Girelli scored the header late at the end of the 90, the Norwegians couldn't respond, and Italy have beaten Norway by 2-1.
Italy winning that game. Well done there, beautifully called. And of course the game this evening is Sweden. Sorry, I've been thrown there. My cousin's here doing work experience and she is in my ear telling me that I've got 10 seconds.
Quite right too.
Normally it's the wonderful Stewie Armour. And I just who? Come on, bang out of order. So yeah, thank you very much. Sweden versus England is the second quarter final this evening, live on talkSPORT, presented by Adrian Durham. Commentary from Joe Shannon and former England striker Tash Dowie. And also today on talkSPORT 2, live coverage of the Open Championship. 5:22, Sam Stevens is back with me for some back pages.
Yeah, can't wait for the Open today.
Oh, I'm buzzing, Sam.
Great, isn't it? Rory's all over the back pages. Rory McIlroy says winning the Open on his home turf to crown an unforgettable year would be stuff that dreams are made of. Of course, he's back at Portrush, isn't he? He's collected the Golfer of the Year award from Association of Golf Writers. He's looking forward to it. There's lots of pictures of the golf this morning as well. Rory's raring to go is the back page of the iPaper. Bring it on! Rory vows to embrace the pressure of trying to win Open on home soil. So difficult to try and call a winner in a golf tournament, a major, isn't it? At the best of times.
And I think that's what makes golf such a great sport, such a unique sport, is that sure, Scheffler and McIlroy both won majors this year and they are 1 and 2. But that's why I think it makes it so exciting, is that you have the top players, but so often somebody that you people could put together a list of 30, 40 players that could genuinely win it this weekend. You can go on different websites and look at odds and favourites, people that are tipping. There'll be countless names, and that's what makes this sport so good, so open. Whereas, we just had Wimbledon, right? You know, Sinner and Alcaraz got to the final. They got to the final of the previous major in France. It felt like there was a really good chance that Sinner and Alcaraz were going to be the final two. Yeah. Whereas with golf, it's so open.
Anyone's game.
Scheffler and McIlroy go as favourites, and they got a great chance. But that's why golf's such a good sport.
Well, talkSPORT 2 is your home of the Open Golf all week, folks, until Sunday night. And Rupert's going to be on the first. Rupert Bell is going to be on the first tee this morning, 6:35 for the.
It's an early start, that part of the way.
Very early start.
Would you like to tee off at 6:35?
I would like to tee off, but I wouldn't mind being there for the first tee. Would you? At 6:35 this morning, it's a pretty good gig, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be. And I see Legend as well kick things off at 6:35.
I'm not sure I fancy having breakfast at mind you say that we have breakfast at 3 a.m. don't we?
Well, but you have breakfast at 3 a.m.
Well, no, I don't. To be fair,
I don't need to.
But I imagine golfers probably have to. They can't probably go out on an empty stomach.
It's a long 4-hour walk, isn't it, on an empty stomach?
It really is. Anyway, fascinating stuff. So we look forward to that happening this morning.
Food chat or the golf?
Both.
Both good.
both, but particularly the golf, of course. Pluck Rogers, back page of the Sun as well this morning. Chelsea have made £80 million Aston Villa star Morgan Rogers their latest summer target. Villa could replace him with Man United outcast Alejandro Garnacho, who's been frozen out of first-team training. talkSPORT understands that Villa harbour an interest in Garnacho and Nicholas Jackson, who's also in the back page of the papers this morning, on the back page of the Eye. United may have to swap Garnacho for Blues' Jackson. A lot to unpick here, Sam. We'll start with the Morgan Rogers link. I mean, Villa may have to make a couple of sales this summer. There's been talk about Emi Martinez, PSR, on the sort of cusp, on the borderline for Villa in terms of where they're at. May have to sell a key player. But Morgan Rogers surely isn't the one that Villa would have to sell, are they?
I really hope not. He is an absolute baller. And we talk about, England having so many great players at the moment, whether it's Foden, Bellingham, Saka, Palmer. We always compare them and who's your 1, 2, 3 and 4. You could genuinely argue, I think, that if you look at form and consistency over the last year, 18 months, that possibly maybe apart from Cole Palmer, who started last season so well, the Morgan Rogers is you can put him in the same category as those players. That's how good I think he is. I think he took his game to a completely different level next season. I think when he first joined in his first 6 months, he was really good, but last season was operating on level, an absolute baller. He's a top player, and I seriously hope from an Aston Villa point of view they do not consider selling him. It would be such a big blow for them. I think from a Chelsea point of view, they've signed so many attacking players in the last couple of seasons. He would be there, him and Cole Palmer playing in the same team would be unbelievable. It would be an unbelievable signing for Chelsea. But from a Villa point of view, I agree with you. I know PSR is an issue there. Sell someone else. I'd almost be like, he's the number one player you want to keep. And then you mentioned Garnacho being the replacement. I mean, what a downgrade that'd be.
Yeah.
What a downgrade. To go from Rogers to Garnacho on the left-hand side. It's like, it's chalk and cheese.
Yeah, I mean, it's 8 goals and 11 assists for Morgan Rogers last year. He's 22. He is a wonderful player. And you think that he seems to have a good head on his shoulders as well. Morgan Rogers, he's the kind of player you want to build your team around, really, I think. Downgrade, yes, about Garnacho. There's no doubt that the boy has potential. We've seen it come out at times for United. He's got good statistics for a player of his age, but I think that the problem with Garnacho is that we know there's the baggage that comes with it, whether or not he'd be able to shake that off, and whether or not a manager could get the best out of him with consistency.
We were saying the thing about Rashford and his attitude, but Unai Emery said, don't care. Bring him. He wanted him at Villa Park, and he was there for 6 months, and did well, and looked like he had a good attitude. But with Villa, in the last 18 months, they've sold Duran for £70 million, Diaby for £55 million, Douglas Luiz for 45, Philly Jean for 20, Archie for 15, Diego Carlos for 10.
Yeah.
That's over £200 million of
a lot of good players there
in the last couple of years. Now, I know that Villa spend a lot of money on wages, but from Aston Villa point of view, you'll be listening to that and seeing that list and thinking, how are we still in a situation where we're going into another summer and we're having to sell for PSR? It must be so frustrating.
Very frustrating. I totally agree. And you sort of think they want to kick on again, don't they, and try and get back into the Champions League. It's so tough to be a club like Villa at the moment. We said the same thing about Newcastle, weren't we? How restrictive it seems to be, PSR, for clubs like this. It's an absolute nightmare for Aston Villa, but they've got the right man at the helm, haven't they, to try and...
Sure.
Now, what about Garnacho then, his future? I mean, we talked about this yesterday, and I made this point, and I think it stands now when you see the stories linking a Garnacho-Jackson swap deal about the ease of doing business with Chelsea, for example, which might be one of the reasons why United are even entertaining the idea of signing Nicholas Jackson. From both clubs' point of view, if they want to get players out and and all that sort of stuff, then a swap deal can have some kind of merit. And if it's easily done, I suppose there's an element of that to it. But it does feel a little bit like it's a marriage of convenience rather than a marriage of actual sort of dedicated pursuit of a particular player.
Chelsea are obsessed with wingers.
Yeah.
They just sign wingers for fun, don't they? I'd love to compile a list of, and maybe I'll do it, of how many wingers they've signed just in the Bowley era. It feels like every single window they're signing 2 new wingers, and then most of them come in and don't end up doing particularly well. Like, I find Garnacho a frustrating player, Sam. There's ability there, but I've always felt that possibly, and this is through no fault of his own maybe, that people overhype him. I think he's maybe set on a higher pedestal than and it's also maybe not fair on him as a player. I find him very inconsistent, very frustrating, and I look at the options that Chelsea have got, and I think Morgan Rogers will come in and be an upgrade on Madueke, whether it's Neto or Jadon Sancho was there last season. I'm not entirely sure that the Garnacho is. I'm not entirely sure Garnacho is the player that Chelsea need. And, I touched on the show yesterday about Nicholas Jackson. Clearly Man United need a number 9. I was doing a show of Flex yesterday on talkSPORT 2. He simply said, go and get Ollie Watkins. He's a man that maybe, that they can get with PSR and proven goal scorer. I think he'd be a much more of a safer option for Manchester United in terms of proving goals than what Nicholas Jackson would be.
Watkins,
but I understand what you mean in terms of Watkins would be, in terms of Jackson, I think it'd be a little more hit and miss. Can be a little more inconsistent. So, yeah, strange stuff, Sam. It feels like a strange kind of little circle you got going on there.
Do wonder, though, about Chelsea may need, if they're going to sell Madueke, they might need somebody to come in and, Garnacho is arguably probably going to have more impact than Jadon Sancho would, potentially. So you're looking at that. Yeah. There's like, if you're comparing apples, there's apples and oranges, but you take my point, there might be something to be said for someone who can get the best out of Garnacho. But it'd be interesting where his future lies, I think, now, because looks like he wants to stay in the Premier League. And as you say, there's a lot that comes with Garnacho. There's some ability, some talent, and some potential there, but there's also the off-field stuff as well. So
but maybe he just needs a new club, a new environment, and possibly then get his head down, feel the love, and we can see the best from him. So lots going on in the world of transfers. Sam, thank you very much. Back for some fun front pages very shortly. It is 5:30 on the talkSPORT Early Breakfast. Coming up, we'll continue to look ahead to the Open Championship starting in an hour and 5 minutes, and also as well the Lionesses in quarterfinal action in the European Championships.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've had a look. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on the side of a cliff in the Faroe Islands in Euro 2000 qualifying. The pitch at Toftir was like a cow field, never mind those gale-force winds. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time. Cue Scandi scenes. But away trips don't come tougher than playing Bolivia at altitude in La Paz. Or so we thought. The Bolivians have now taken home advantage to another level, literally 500 metres further up the Andes to the country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
A very, very good morning. Happy Thursday. It's 5:35, 17th of July. I hope you're having a wonderful morning wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It is the Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux, the cover you need at a price you will love with Watt Van's Insurer of the Year 2021. You can find out more at adrianflux.co.uk, and don't forget you can watch this show and all talkSPORT shows on your smart TV, as well as our wonderful YouTube channel, which Sam Ellard taking you through until 6 with Alan Brazil and Dean Saunders take over with the Breakfast Show at 6. Let's bring you some breaking news coming in, because the England, the Lions team, named for the game against Australia, is at 7 o'clock UK time this morning. Australia have just named their team. Joe Schmidt picking the team, missing two big names in a big blow to their forward pack. Their head coach Joe Schmidt not been able to include the lock Will Skelton or back row Rob Valentini in the 23. Both are struggling with injuries. They're both not available for this Saturday's game. Full team news for the first test between Australia and the Lions on talkSPORT Breakfast at 6. And again, the Lions team expected to be announced at 7 o'clock this morning. We'll bring you that immediately on the Breakfast Show. Elsewhere, Bournemouth signed goalkeeper Georgi Petrovic from Chelsea for £25 million. The Serbian international has agreed a 5-year contract to the Vitality Stadium. He spent last season on loan at Strasbourg. And Jasper Bumrah and Rishabh Pant, good news for India, both expected to play in the 4th test starting next Wednesday ahead of the series. India pretty much said Bumrah's only playing 3 test matches. He's played in 2 of the 3. Being reported he'll play at Old Trafford, and I guess with India 2-1 down in the series, there is absolutely no point in not playing him in the 4th match where they could lose and then go to the Oval 3-1 down and then play him in a game which is a dead rubber. Rishabh Pant picked up a finger injury at Lords, but he is believed to be fit enough to keep wicket and play in the 4th test. Now the battle for Alexander Isak is hotting up. Newcastle want to keep him, of course they do. Liverpool, as we know, they definitely want him. Former Newcastle midfielder, cult hero up in Newcastle, Nobby Solano, joined talkSPORT Breakfast yesterday morning, and he simply said Newcastle cannot let him go.
Newcastle now, like I'm saying, is in great position. I know every player goes with your own ambition. They try to win trophies. I think it's a great opportunity. They did already. I know they're looking for the Premier League title or looking for the Champions League, any successful there. But like you say all the time, the fans love it when you're always loyal to the team, loyal to the club. It's very tentative for Isak, you know. He's in great position. It's very tentative for the club, how much money they offer to him. But I think Eddie will be the guy. I mean, the manager won't let him to happen this situation, because you build in a team for the last 3-4 years.
And here's Merseyside football expert writing for the Daily Mail, Dom King, with the latest on Liverpool's interest in the Swedish striker, Alexander Isak.
Liverpool's intention's clear. If they are given any kind of encouragement that Isak is going to move this window, they will be right on it. He's one of the best in the world. It's the type of transfer that Liverpool want to do to possibly win the Champions League next year. But Isak's one of a number of names that's being mentioned at the moment. Liverpool have an interest in Etikike as well. Yeah. But there's others that I've written about this morning with my colleague Simon Jones. There's an interest in Johan Wieser at Brentford, where Wieser could have gone to Arsenal in January, and the way he's been playing in the Premier League, I think he'd be a welcome addition to anybody. They've talked about Victor Osimhen in discussions with Napoli. They've talked about Ollie Watkins and one or two others. So it's definitely a situation that will keep progressing over the summer. Look, the bid hasn't gone in or anything like that, but what is absolutely clear is that Liverpool would love Isak if they're given the encouragement.
So Liverpool won Alexander Isak, Newcastle won Ekitike, and also Liverpool, if they can't get Isak, won Ekitike. You know what? Here's talkSPORT's Alex Crook.
It doesn't surprise me that these conversations have taken place. I don't see it as an attempt by Edwards and Hughes to unsettle Alexander Isak, because I think they would show Eddie Howe and Newcastle more respect than that. I think they've simply asked the question because they know that Newcastle are trying to press on with Ekitike. Does that mean that Alexander Isak might be available for a British record transfer? And if not, then maybe they might go for Ekitike as well. So there's so many different strands
to this story. What I can tell you is I think Newcastle fear the worst now when it comes to Ekitike, not just interest in Liverpool, Chelsea waiting in the wings there as well if Nicholas Jackson was to be sold.
And I promise you, if Isak stays or goes, if Ekitike goes, Liverpool, Newcastle, you'll hear about it first on talkSPORT at 5:40. You know what time it is.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move!
The front page is first on the early sports breakfast. talkSPORT.
The t-shirt wearing the smooth operator, Mr. Samuel Stevens, is back in the studio.
Nothing that smooth. Now, a lack of public loos means Brits are being caught short. Online searches for nearest toilet to me have surged 5,000% in a month.
That's an actual website.
No. I think you can search on like on Google Maps.
An actual website called Nearest Toilets to Me.
Apps and sites I'm sure are available. But like Google Maps, you can search for things around the area, can't you? So you can search for like cafes or restaurants, that sort of thing. I imagine now you can also do a search for public lavatories.
Sorry, I thought that was like an actual real life website.
Oh, nearestlootome.com.
Yeah, and I thought that would be. It wouldn't actually surprise me.
Do you know what?
You're about to ask me if I've been caught short before, right?
I will ask you that, but first of all, that is a genius business idea, by the way.
Should we do that?
A website that lists
should we go on
the
Dragon's
loos.
Den?
Yes. And then we could find the areas where there aren't any and petition them to make some.
Yeah, one of my best mates went on Dragon's Den, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, selling sweets, and he got a deal.
Did he?
Yeah, it was amazing to see it on TV, actually.
How good is that?
Well, he's I guess Pete. I think it was Peter Jones who agreed the deal.
But there are other people in the world who sell sweets. I mean, it's not exactly.
Well, he obviously liked this brand of sweets, didn't he, Peter Jones?
Well,
I'm guessing. Right?
Yeah,
are you questioning my friend's business plan? Clearly,
yes,
it's a good job you weren't on the panel, Sam.
True. Has he actually invested in Peter Jones? Because sometimes they say they do it and then they sort of don't do it afterwards.
Move on.
Exactly. Scotland had the longest distances between public loos, with desperate folk facing the equivalent of a 150-minute walk. Showers to you found. Loo hunters in Northern Ireland face a 2-hour walk between bogs on average. Well, it's bogs, that's what word is it? Well, more than 90 minutes in Wales. London has the shortest gap, with an average travel time of just 19 minutes.
No, that's not too bad.
At 19 minutes.
So you're saying if I ever get caught short in London, on average, it'll be a 90-minute walk to the nearest toilet, which isn't too bad, is it?
Things you can guarantee in London: traffic lights and loos.
Loads of traffic lights and loos.
Now, please don't use one for the other. Now, would you say you have ever been caught short?
Yeah, I have been caught short. I think we've all.
It's worrying. Story.
No, but I didn't end up doing anything silly. But we've all been on. I'm the same as most guys when it comes to drinking beer. I mean, it's insane.
It's
the once you do break the seal, it is literally every 10 or 15 minutes. It's insane. It almost gets to the point where I sometimes genuinely go nights out, or not even night out, just a beer in a pub, and think I'm not going to drink beer this evening, because once I go for my first toilet, it then ends up being every 15 minutes. And of course, when if you're in town and it's half an hour and 45 minutes to get home, as you can imagine by doing the basic mathematics, that's a lot of time you need to go,
It is. I'm not sure how you factor that in if you need like a cab journey home or something.
You can't, unfortunately. You can't. You have to basically.
Sorry, driver.
You have to sit there in pain.
Suffer.
It's sore.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. Now let's move on and talk about something which might relate to that sometimes. When was the last time you cried?
Oh, Sam. I don't want to go too personal.
No, nothing to not in that sense. Do you watch films and cry, or?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't. The last time I cried wasn't over a film or something like that. It was maybe something,
Okay, something more serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine. Well, false crocodile tears are more believable when shed by men than women. A study found. Crying is perceived as more likely to be genuine when it's people we least expect to turn on the waterworks. Like, for some reason it says here, tennis ace Andy Murray. There's also a picture of him crying.
Well, it was that press conference, wasn't it, when he started? That was after the Australian Open. That was quite a memorable press conference, wasn't it?
Yeah, sometimes. We found this is a professor of the University of Łódź in Poland. We found tears might be more socially beneficial, that is, perceived as more honest signals motivating others to support the crier when shed by people less expected to do so, for instance, by men. Have you ever fake cried to get yourself out of a situation?
I mean, maybe when I was a kid or something, like, and I was living at home with mum and dad, there might have been the odd sort of fake crocodile tears because I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. But no, I'm not too much fake. There is nothing worse, though, is it, when someone's putting it on, Sam? And I'm like, come on. There are bigger things in the world to worry about than you fake crying over this because you haven't got this or you didn't get that. Grow up and get on with it. There are people that are dealing with real serious stuff in this world, and there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse, is there, Sam?
No, there isn't. How do you feel about men crying? Are you all right with it?
Yeah, of course I'm all right with it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good. You're a modern man, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a modern man.
Now, how about this? This is the last little nib for you before we wrap this.
This is the one where I know when you're looking answer that this could be absolutely rogue.
It is quite rogue.
You haven't read it yourself, have you?
I have read it. I can tell you a little thing. A 5-line story.
Okay.
Repetitive sing-along tune "Baby Shark" will be the most played on family car journeys this summer, a poll found.
What?
Now, I haven't got the rest of the list here, so I'm guessing this is probably the Sun. Actually, I'm not going to speculate because obviously I'm sure this is a perfectly legitimate survey.
Oh,
but this is the sort of thing where they could easily just sort of, just stick a bit of info in there and have done with it. But that would probably be about right, wouldn't it? Baby Shark, because obviously the kids would probably want to hear that in the car, but it's driving you mad.
Even still to this day?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Wasn't that a trend
has
a
it not
couple of
been
years ago?
replaced now by something a bit more
I don't know
modern?
what it is. But yeah, that feels like that surprised me. Oh, imagine having to sit in a long car journey with 2 screaming kids and that.
2 hours.
Oh, that doesn't sound too fun, does it? What's your favourite sing-along song?
Sing-along? That's a very good question, actually. That is an excellent question. I mean, it's not like going to be a kids' tune. It'll be something like it'll be something like "Living on a Prayer" or something.
Oh, Bon Jovi.
I knew this was coming.
So I'm annoyed already.
It's going to get stuck in your head this
I know.
rest of the day.
Apologies to all of our listeners who are going to have that in their head for the whole day.
Do you like a sing-along?
Yeah, I do. But that... It's still annoying, isn't it? It hasn't stopped being annoying. Thanks, Stu. I can imagine Stu singing along to that on his way home from work.
I think that's Stu's favourite song, all-time favourite song.
I like cheesy stuff, Sam. I make no bones about it. I like cheesy stuff like... also, your Ed Sheeran, your Taylor Swift. I like to keep it simple like that. Yeah. I like to keep it simple. Simple life's a good life. I'm not massive into my music. That does the job for me.
Simple life's a good life. Nothing wrong with that.
Not Baby Shark, though.
No. I would say not Baby Shark, and certainly not as a repetitive sing-along in the car.
For 2 hours.
Drive you absolutely mad.
Goodness me. Anyway, that's now stuck in my head.
But you don't have to worry about that today, because you're going to be tuning into talkSPORT 2's live coverage of the Open Golf.
Oh, what a seamless plug from the brilliant Sam Stevens. That's on talkSPORT 2. On talkSPORT this evening, the Lionesses game. We'll hear from Serena Wigman a little bit later on. very, very good morning. You're listening to the Early Breakfast Show. We are live on talkSPORT. Coming up at 6 o'clock this morning, it is Alan Brazil and Dean Saunders with the Breakfast Show. Danny and Simon back at 10 o'clock. Hawksby and Baker at 1. Then Shaban and Andy Townsend at 4 with Drive. Now, tonight, the Lionesses have a chance to set up a semi-final with Italy if they can get past the old rival Sweden. Live on talkSPORT. Serena Wiegman's side lost their opening game against France, but back-to-back convincing victories over Netherlands and Wales saw them qualify in second spot in Group D, while Sweden finished above Germany to top Group C. The Lionesses, they're into the last 8. Here's the story so far.
Now time for another summer of unforgettable moments. Come on, England. And England's title defence begins with a damaging defeat in Zurich.
Something has to happen. Serena themselves, they have to look at themselves, what went wrong, because they have to put it right.
It's tournament football, and I think you go through lots of highs and lows to get where you want to be in tournaments.
James on the edge of the area, onto the left foot. Oh, yes! That's a majestic goal from England's Lauren James. Two left-footed shots. It's 4! What a performance from England! In Serena, we trust.
The response under pressure, which this England team always seem to do, was magnificent.
Aggie Beaver-Jones with her first goal at a major tournament. 6-4 England. What a night for Serena Wiegman.
Really nice to see that we scored so many goals and that many different players score goals.
It all bodes very well for the Lionesses here in Switzerland.
We're with the Lionesses for every kick right here on talkSPORT.
Feels a long time ago now. England lost to France. Backed it up though with wins against Netherlands and Wales. The game this evening against Sweden, live on talkSPORT at 8 o'clock. Let's now go inside the England camp. The defender Lucy Bronze says her and the rest of the team are relishing the big game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of game that both teams want, and I mean, any top player in the world wants to be playing in the big games. I think for me it's probably the most exciting quarter-final because the teams are so full of confidence, quality. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about the rankings, but I think they're probably two of the highest ranked teams facing off against each other. Oh, France and Germany, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we knew that coming into this quarter-final it was going to be against a tough team. We obviously watched Sweden and Germany play each other. We then knew we had to win our game. These are exciting times, being in a tournament, playing against top teams. All the girls, you know, today in training are really up for the game tomorrow, really excited for what tomorrow's going to bring.
And let's hear from the head coach, Serena Wiegman, saying the mood in the camp is positive and supportive.
First of all, the players do that. We all know why we're here, and we know we have a squad of 23, and that when you start you can only play 11 players. And yeah, just acknowledge that sometimes it's hard too. It's hard work, and you have to be a team player, but sometimes it's hard too. And yeah, I think we're just trying to stick together and talk to everyone and stay connected as good as possible and support each other when needed.
That's England, Sweden tonight, 8 o'clock, live on talkSPORT. All of the quarterfinals coming up as well are all live on the talkSPORT network. So England versus Sweden tonight on talkSPORT. Tomorrow night, Spain, Switzerland on talkSPORT 2. Then Saturday night, France, Germany, what a game that should be, is also on talkSPORT 2. Elsewhere today, the 153rd Open Golf at Royal Portrush gets underway this morning. In fact, it gets underway in 6:35. Patrick Harrington taking the first shots of the tournament. Rory McIlroy is all over the back pages today. He returns to his home course as the Masters champion. While yesterday it was fellow major winner, the world number one, the three-time major winner, Scotty Scheffler, who caused a stir in his pre-tournament press conference by saying that golf isn't the be-all and end-all. He doesn't want to inspire the next generation. The impacts on his family life is not completely fulfilling. What's the point, he basically said on Drive. Former England defender, England legend Stuart Pearce says he understands where Scheffler is coming from.
That's, for me, football management. You know, the enjoyment lasts literally when the relief kicks in, when the final whistle goes. And then by the time you've got in the dressing room, have a little bit of euphoria with the players, you're thinking about next Saturday and you think, bloody hell, I haven't enjoyed this. As a player, you did. I did as a player. But certainly as a manager, when all pressures rests on your shoulder, that is a different category altogether. And I can see the connections there. I can see what he's saying.
But legendary golfer Dame Laura Davis told talkSPORT Breakfast she can understand why Scheffler's comments have upset a few.
Yeah, well, I savoured every win I ever had on tour like it was going to be my last. And
you know, I like I say, everyone's different, and good luck to Scotty. And maybe he has different priorities, which he clearly does, and his family is be all and end all. But like that caller that rang in, life's not quite as easy for everybody else. And when you hear someone that's at the top of the game like that, it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, I imagine. But you know, that's Scotty, and I don't know him personally at all, but I was surprised when I heard what I heard.
What about Justin Rose then? I think Justin Rose is a player that lots of people in this country will have eyes on throughout the tournament. Of course, Rory McIlroy, but England's Justin Rose looking for a good weekend at the Open. Speaking ahead of the event getting underway, Justin Rose says Scheffler is right to get his priorities in order.
Very relatable for sure. I think there's been moments in my career where you summit to the top of the rankings, and you kind of maybe perceive it to be more than it actually is at the time. But I think it's just a great reminder for what he said, that yeah, there are clearly other things in life, and it's about having all your big rocks in place. And clearly his family faith, as my family is in place, those are the things that give me the greatest joy. And obviously, listen, we spend a lot of time playing golf. We spend a lot of time focusing. I've been dreaming about being a pro golfer since I was probably 5 years old. So, I mean, it's a huge part of me, and I want to honour that always. But, I'm only 45 years old, let's say, halfway through my life, I hope. I also hope to be a lot more than a golfer. So it's good perspective to not make it be everything.
And we will be live from the first tee at 6:35 as Patrick Harrington tees off at the 135th Open Championship. Well, we'll have full commentary throughout the next 4 days on talkSPORT 2. So we're going to recommend you download the talkSPORT app, and you can very simply swipe between talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2 and listen to whatever you choose. Coming up, though, is The Breakfast Show. Anna Brazil and Dean Saunders on breakfast from 6. They'll bring you team news from the first Lions test against Australia. You'll hear from Andy Farrell about his selections. That team news expected to come at 7 o'clock this morning. They will, of course, be live to Rupert Bell on the first tee at Portrush. Open updates throughout the morning. Andrew Beef Johnson will give his thoughts on the Open, plus David Campese and Ben Kate will chat the Lions ahead of that first test match getting underway Saturday morning. You've been listening to The Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. The Early Sports Breakfast Show back tomorrow at 5, but coming up next, Anna Brazil and Dean Saunders with talkSPORT Breakfast.